Hey Ty, why you looking so grim?
Because it's Christmas. Man, I hate this holiday.
What? You don't like Christmas? Why? It is such a jolly holiday. I don't know why I'm doing this accent, but whatever. You spend time with your loved one, exchange presents, eat great elaborate meals. How can you not love it?
It's time to play Put the Nose on the Reindeer.
See? You see? That's why. Excuse me. I'm gonna go somewhere where I can't hear people sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Jeez, what a party pooper.
Nobody will ever look for me here.
Ty, what are you doing here?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You do know this is a mod room, right?
Please, don't tell anybody I'm hiding here. Come on, man. Do me this favor, would ya?
Fine, but why?
Because everybody wants to put a red nose on me and call me Rudolph. It's horrible. It's degrading.
Oh, boo-hoo, cry me a river.
I beg your pardon? I happen to know some villains that have turned evil for far less. Heck, I'm one raisin cookie away from becoming one myself.
Ty, my middle name is Rudolph. I am very familiar with your problem. Also, I'm colored like a Santa hat. That gives some people weird ideas.
Wait. Hold up. Your name is Tricky Rudolph Fox?
Yeah, please don't tell anyone.
Okay, I promise. But on the condition that you don't tell anybody that I'm here.
Well, okay, but you have to review the best gift ever with me.
It's because of the reindeer, isn't it?
You bet it's because of reindeers. The best gift ever. It's not a movie, not an episode, but My Little Pony Friendship is Magic's first TV special that isn't related to Equestria girls. Though it's basically as long as a two-parter. Only that there isn't really anything at stakes. Just the main six celebrating Housewarming Eve. Really, it feels more like an extended episode with a holiday theme, instead of a big adventure that we usually see at the beginning or end of a season.
It's a fairly standard holiday plot for the most part. The main six and Spike are just playing a form of Secret Santa, lovably called Housewarming Helper in the episode, where each pony is tasked to try and find the perfect present for each other.
Well, and what I notice is that this is apparently not the same Housewarming Eve we saw in Season 8. We see that the Student 6 are leaving for the holidays, whereas they are all decide to stay in Ponyville in Housewarming Club. So I can only assume that another year has passed. Ever since Season 6, time just flies in the show. Since Floriad has been born, we had 2 Housewarming Eve episodes, and the dialogue in Housewarming Club implies that at least 3 happened since Season 6. So this is at least the 4th Housewarming Eve since Floriad has been born. So she's at least 4 years old by now. Doesn't quite look like it.
Tricky, are you trying to make sense out of the show's timeline again?
Fine, I drop it for now. In any case, Spike got Rainbow Dash, but being Spike, he of course wants to get a gift for Rarity. Let me be honest with you, I was never a big fan of Spike's crush. It was kinda cute when it was introduced in the first episode, but it just got old after a while. We all know that he and Rarity will never hook up, and more often than not, it just seems like Rarity is taking advantage of the poor kid. Especially after Amber and now Smolder got introduced, I think it would be more interesting for him to develop feelings for another dragon instead.
I think it's adorable, but at the same time, actually quite heartbreaking. This poor dragon is obviously crazy in love, and while we as an audience perhaps can see that the love is very one-sided, and that it's unlikely a true relationship will form between these two, I just can't help but feel a little bad for Spike. I think we've all been there in some form or another, we've all had crushes in our lives, but what Spike may need to learn is that sometimes relationships just will not form, and while he can can dream, he may have to learn to be content with the awesome friendship he currently does have with Rarity. I hope we can get to see this addressed somewhere in a future episode.
In any case, he manages to swap his housewarming helper buddy with Fluttershy, who got Rarity. But then Spike realizes that he actually has no idea what he should get Rarity. Just get her some jewels.
No. Not just any old shiny trinkets will cut it for our love-struck dragon. He wants to make an impression. And his gift has to be really special and from the heart. That is going to be challenging. What the?
Fox?
See? I told you he wasn't Santa.
Oh, come on, that could happen to anyone. Look at that fox. He almost looks like Santa, and he has a reindeer with him.
You know, he does have the colors, but I'm thinking he's missing a couple of pounds.
Deckard, Master Code, what the fucks are you two doing?
We tried to kidnap Santa so he takes us off the naughty list.
So you try to get on Santa's good side by kidnapping him with your barely functioning teleporter?
It was his idea.
Stop telling lies!
What? You're the evil twin.
No, you are.
Aren't you both on the naughty list?
That has nothing to do with this.
Okay, look. Can you please just teleport us back then?
Yeah, the teleporter needs a couple minutes to recharge, so we can probably take part in whatever you're reviewing.
How did you know?
It's Christmas and you're hanging out with Ty. Obviously, you're reviewing the best gift ever.
And by the looks of it, you were about to talk about Applejack and Fluttershy.
Okay, whatever, just let's move on. After Spike swapped his half-warming helper body with Fluttershy, she gets approached by Applejack, who reveals that she wants her help to find a good gift for Spike. They go together to Rainbow Falls. I hope this doesn't end with someone trying to sell Fluttershy into slavery again.
Not quite. Instead, she gets fooled by Flim and Flam to buy Holly the Hearthwarmer, a cheap and frankly ugly plushie. Now, I get the idea. It's pretty common, especially in the toy industry, to praise certain items as the best Christmas gift of the season and as must-haves, and that they're limited supply, so buy now. It can be difficult for someone to shop for others when you don't have an entirely clear idea of what they like or what you should get them, and this sort of marketing really takes advantage of these types of people. Fluttershy became flustered and went with the easiest and most convenient gift she could find, which usually isn't the most thoughtful, and the point still stands.
Overall, I thought Best Gift Ever was a fantastic episode, but there was something familiar about it, more specifically AJ and Fluttershy's ordeal with the Flim Flam brothers. And then I realized their section very much mirrored the plot of the IDW 2017 Holiday Special. Both are about the brothers shelling a holiday product to make a quick bit as a pair of the main six attempt to thwart their greedy operation. But which one did it better? Let's start off easy with the holiday mascots Holly the Hearthwarmer and Windy the Wendigo. Holly is a relatively neutral character that embodies all the usual love, friendship, mostly commercialism of the holiday, and it's believable every pony would go into a frenzy for such a thing. I find Winnie and her numerous products a much harder sell that every pony wanted because Flim and Flam are basically promoting an icon that nearly brought destruction to Equestria, spinning it into a positive light. So I question the plausibility of every pony buying into Windy despite the sensationalism. As for the brothers themselves, they play pretty similar in both the episode and comic, both using their usual cunning and tricks to exploit everyone's gullibility to make money, but technically doing nothing really illegal. The major difference between the episode and the comic is how the girls resolve the problem. In both, they do call out the brothers on their charade, but in Best Gift Ever, AJ and Fluttershy's methods feel like a more natural ploy of common sense, but also makes them look more altruistic, expressing the spirit of the season with their generosity as they sacrifice their own bits to ultimately help every pony to see reason in choosing the right or individual gift rather than the gift with a subjective blanket term of what's hottest in town. In the comic, AJ and Twilight's reason for solving the issue was more about self-gratification than helping every pony. Sure, they don't want the town to just waste their bits, but in the end, it more so came down to they just wanted the brothers gone because the holiday was driving them bonkers with every pony's excessive windy talk. Every pony was pissed off with Flim and Flam gone, rightfully so, as even though the town was enthralled into a quick cash-in icon, they were happy and content with all the cheer in town, as odd as it was, doing no real harm. AJ and Twilight cared more about being right just for the sake of being right than seeing all the joy right in front of them. Which raises the question, if a holiday event or organization promotes happiness and cheer, even if it's not exactly on the level and no real harm comes from it, should it be left alone? Where do we draw the lines between what's right and what's best for anyone? When to leave someone in bliss or show them the harsh reality of a situation? So yeah, between the two stories, it's pretty clear that The Best Gift Ever is a much more endearing and well-written storyline than the Holiday Annual. But I still like the comic as the artwork is great, the holiday imagery is nice, and it's still got some good humor. Anyway, how about you, Mr. Spade? What's your opinion on AJ and Fluttershy's escapades?
I look at the situation and think, this seems par for the course. If we look how consumerism is used as a parallel to the holiday experience today, we can see in almost every Hallmark special how people in the holiday become the main focus instead of material things. In this situation, it isn't that different. Fluttershy feeds into the hype pretty readily because it seems to go with the feeling of the holiday. Though I do have to question her optimism and pleasant attitude even after the realization of being taken advantage of. But I can't say it's completely out of character for her. Every pony in town is going after the best toy of the season as advertised, and everyone falls for what Flim and Flam are buying. The difference in the resolution isn't so much about finding out that the holiday season should be the focus. Oddly enough, it's in the fact that everyone has a different personal taste. The way you express yourself through the holiday can be through gifts that are homemade, bought with the right intentions, or even just by being with the ones that you care about. Applejack and Fluttershy make this point with a bit of play acting towards the crowd, and that's what I like about this. They let everyone draw their own conclusions. I also want to mention that while Flim and Flam are obviously taking advantage of the holiday, they're both spending it together as family, and the two seem to be enjoying themselves, even though it's at the expense of the town. And even though their scheme falls apart in the end, at least the two have each other as they go back home to Lost Pegasus. It's good to see that they don't succeed, and maybe they get the time to share and reflect a somber moment together on their way home. It doesn't show them being reformed, and once again, leaves things open to interpretation.
Honestly, I've always really enjoyed the interactions between Flim and Flam and the rest of the characters. They often deal with transgressions that are clearly morally and ethically wrong, but
You may not like it, but technically, we're not doing anything wrong.
especially in The Best Gift Ever, while they're selling a lousy toy that in and of itself is not a terrible thing, although we can all agree that it's not how they should be operating business. It forces us as the audience to really see every shade of good and bad, and critically question what is right or wrong, and I really enjoy that somewhat ambiguous nature of the confrontations that Flim and Flam Brothers create.
Oh hey, the teleporter's been recharged. I can send you back now.
That would be nice. Thanks.
Okay, coordinates are set for the Secret Rift. We'll see you guys next year.
See you later. Huh. The Secret Rift looks a little bit different since the last time I've been here.
This isn't the Secret Rift.
After all these years, you dare to show up here, Santa? I will get my revenge!
What?
Oh, it's just you two. Wait, why are you breaking into my gallery on Christmas?
Mastico's teleporter, while we are here, do you want to talk about Rarity's role in The Best Gift Ever?
Did you say Rarity? Well, in that case, I think I can forgive you for breaking into my house.
Now, Rarity decided to get Applejack a designer hat for Hearthstorming Eve. How cool! But she runs into the usual problem with online shopping during the holiday season, a lost delivery. So, as it turns out, Derpy delivered the hat to the wrong address because she thought the hat was meant to be delivered to AJ directly, and somehow managed to screw up even that. Jeez, that pony is adorably ditzy.
Instead, it was delivered to the Nut family on Sweet Acorn Orchard, where it ended up in the house of Pistachio, a young aspiring artist who now just happens to meet one of his role models.
I think out of all the storylines in this special, besides Spike's, this one is the most grounded, and thus the most solid. Rarity by nature is not just a generous pony, but also one of great drive and determination in the face of obstacles. I mean, think about it. Rarity and Pistachio are not that far off in upbringing. Yeah, maybe Rarity may have came from a family who's a bit more well-off, but at the end of the day, she still came from a small, complacent town from two parents who didn't get her or her passion, but still love her. And that's not me guessing or implicating. She apparently told Sapphire Shores this in Friends Forever 13. But despite that, she continued her passion and is one of the top designers in Ponyville. Nay, one of the top designers in Equestria. She knows what it's like to be young, feel out of place, and have a dream no one close to you can truly understand. It makes her kind of affection and willingness to let him keep the hat so believable. She's not just giving him a hat, she's giving him something she never had in childhood. Someone who understands him.
Personally, this is actually my favorite part of the special. Something about Pistachio, who fanboys over Rarity, is just incredibly sweet. I think Rarity got herself a new intern. I would actually like to see him again in Season 9.
It's actually incredible what a positive difference a simple mistake made in somebody's life. Rarity's unintentional gift to Pistachio and subsequent visit really seemed to inspire and influence the young colt's life for the better. He's obviously an outsider, a hopeful fashion designer in a place that values practicality and form. Having someone he can talk to, even for a brief moment, that can relate to his struggles, his issues, and his differences, and even help him get a foothold in the industry is a remarkable gift indeed. It was really nice to see Rarity's generosity shine here, and I really do hope we see Pistachio shining in a future episode someday.
Okay guys, that was fun. Always good to go into the episode reviewy mode once in a blue moon. But you guys gotta go. I gotta head out to Goldie's place now. Gonna see if I could shove him and A&Y under the mistletoe together. Those will be some fun blackmail pics.
Sure, but can you do us a favor and teleport us back to the secret rift?
Hey, you're talking to the Canterlottian trained unicorn. I know my teleporting spells. On second thought, maybe I shouldn't teleport people when I'm awake for 30 hours without any sleep. No, Grandma, not the hammer.
Okay, next time, we're calling a cab.
Maybe you got a point there. Teleporting just seems to be too much trouble during the holidays.
Security breach, unauthorized teleportation, and of course not a guard in sight. Oh, it's you two. Tricky, what are you doing here? I thought we'd agreed to have tea after the holidays.
We are reviewing the best gift ever, and some pony budget a teleportation spell. Wanna talk about how Twilight was portrayed in that special?
I suppose I have a couple of minutes before Firebrand shoots you out of his cannon, but I'm out of scones.
That's okay. Wait, what?
The primary conflict begins when Twilight frantically teleports all over the open-air market, hunting for decorations for the castle and presents for her family and friends. She's actually behind, which I kind of found strange given how Twilight is, so she pays little heed to her friends being wrapped up in her list until Applejack pulls a Dr. Wolf and calms her down. Applejack's suggestion of Hearth-Swarming Helper goes over well with her, and her to-do list is significantly shortened. Not that this stops her from overdoing it.
It wouldn't be Twilight if she didn't.
Her Pinkie Pie Venn diagram leads her to pudding, the pony meme of the year.
There are only a few things in MLP that are more entertaining than Crazy Twilight, and her pudding face is the show's crowning achievement of memeness. I really like how they incorporated Chancellor Puddinghead's pudding into this episode. It's a nice callback to the original Heartwarming Eve episodes, in which she was portrayed by Pinkie, and easily one of the better handed continuity nods.
In her frenzy to research the pudding, she forgets that her family is due to arrive that day instead of the next. And they show up in I want Flur's widow outfit for when Firebrand and I have a filly. It's too cute!
Should we start shopping now, or?
Can we get married first, please?
Fine.
Twilight fibs about how prepared she is and denies going Twily Nanas to her brother, who obviously knows her better. Also, Twily Nanas has got to be one of the cutest ways to describe her psycho side ever. I just love it. They continue to try and have fun without her, but after she keeps ignoring them to make the finicky pudding, Shining and Cadence confront her.
Hi, remember us? We came all the way from the Crystal Empire for some quality family time?
I personally love this moment in the special. We sometimes get so busy with the material aspects of the holidays, parties, decorating, presents, food, that we forget what's supposed to truly matter to us during that time. Our families and friends should come first, and even though you're likely doing all this work for them, actually focusing on them is more important.
It's nice to see that these two are understanding of Twilight here in the episode. They know she's extremely prone to stressing about, well, anything and everything, and the holiday season is no different. They're here to help, and they just want to see Twilight enjoy the time rather than worry about it. It's honestly really heartwarming to see.
Anyways, Twilight apologizes, but while the adults' backs are turned, Flurry decides to be a helpful spawn of Tartarus and adds half the kitchen to the pudding, while no one notices. That's Netflix's series of unfortunate events level of adults being dumb. This leads eventually to the heartwarming Eve party, which absolutely...
Ugh, where are the trespassers? They came as fast as I could. Oh, it's just your magic hat and tie.
It was a magical accident, dear. I think we can let it slide.
Yeah, don't take it too seriously.
You just had to do it, didn't you?
You guys owe me a new ceiling.
You want to talk.
Do I want to know what you guys are up to?
Spirit! Oh, I'm glad to see a fellow deer on a day like this.
Ah, you two are on the run because people wanted to put a red nose on you. And let me guess, you want me to talk about Pinkie Pie?
How did you...
It's Spirit. Don't question it.
Fine.
Pinkie seems to be having some trouble deciding exactly what gifts she wants to get for her selected pony, as she's had gift ideas in mind for all of them but isn't sure what would be special enough for one gift. So, after talking with her sisters, she decides to turn to those who are best at giving gifts, the Yaks.
Yaks know best at giving gifts? After an adorable exchange between Pinkie and Prince Rutherford, we indeed discover that while the Yaks are obviously the best at everything, they aren't the best at giving gifts. Honestly, it was incredibly nice to see Prince Rutherford really be humble and helpful in this scene. Perhaps when he knows that his fellow Yaks aren't within earshot, he can let his guard down a bit. It's a really interesting relationship he has with his people.
Personally, this has been my favorite depiction of Prince Rutherford yet. It's only a small appearance, but I do appreciate that he's actually helpful for once and almost humble, admitting that there is something Yaks aren't the best at. It makes good use of their already established relationship and makes the introduction of the reindeer feel surprisingly natural.
Agreed. With Rutherford's suggestion to find the best gift givers further north, she sets off to find them, braving ferocious winds and blistering colds, a harrowing adventure indeed. But when she arrives, she's greeted by yet another addition to the show.
Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis. At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your kitchen.
These three are seemingly magical beings who, apparently, are taking the place of what we know as Santa Claus in the real world. These three have the ability to know the past, the present, and the future, which they use to help assist them in finding the perfect gifts for everyone in Equestria.
Stupid designs don't even look good.
What was a spirit?
To put it lightly, I am not a fan of these reindeer designs. Though I do appreciate the fact that they are bright and colorful like yours truly, I personally do not think the shape of the body and the way they covered the forelegs in particular look very good. The design feels a bit too boxy, and though I do appreciate the fact that they provided them more expressive eyes and manes, the lack of noses just makes them feel more like ponies with antlers. Speaking of antlers, I can't help but feel that their use of magical glowing antlers in general design feels a bit too... well, not to toot my own horn, but I'm doing it far longer than the show did, and given the general vibe and the design of the reindeer, I can't help but feel that they took just a little bit of inspiration.
Besides the noses, the biggest issue I have with the reindeers is that they are hardly in the special. Usually when we meet characters like this, they get an entire episode devoted to them. But they only played a very small role in the special that you almost wonder what the point was. I mean, I'm still happy that we got to see them, but I'm just feeling somewhat disappointed. On another note though, considering that the three reindeer represent past, present and future, I wonder if they were actually the three spirits that visited Snowfall Frost, assuming that he isn't a fictional character, that is. But it does make for an interesting connection between the two episodes when you think about it.
Now, I could teleport you two to the Secret Rift now, but that wouldn't be very funny, so I'm just gonna teleport you to another reviewer.
Of course she does.
Have fun!
About time you two showed up. I've been waiting for hours. My hot cocoa's gotten cold.
You knew we would show up?
That sounds highly unlikely.
Well, it's Christmas. I knew someone would show up for a Christmas special.
Fine, you can talk about Rainbow Dash and Discord.
Honestly, the interaction between Rainbow Dash and Discord seemed to be similar to, well, everyone else's interactions with Discord. He has Dash wrapped around his little pinky claw the whole time while leading her to get this cute version of a gremlin? Once in a while, I wouldn't mind the main 6 leading him around for a change. I bet Rarity could figure out how to trick him, or manipulate him. She's pretty shrewd. I think that'd be pretty fun to watch. The only ones that have really even gotten close to that are Starlight and possibly Spike. And more or less, they're only able to sometimes see through his tricks rather than being able to manipulate him. Still, it is nice to see that Discord is living by the sacred rule of happy waifu, happy laifu. He seems to put Fluttershy's happiness before pretty much everything else, and it's actually kind of nice when he's not trying to banish his competition to another dimension.
Seeing Discord and Rainbow Dash teaming up was pretty cool in my opinion. I would love to see Discord taking war with the individual members of the main 6 in general. He usually settles on either having tea with Fluttershy or teasing Twilight. Well, and lately he also started to mess with Starlight. Ever since What About Discord established that he is now on good terms with them, I wanted to see something like that, but the show never really did anything with it. Especially Rainbow Dash just makes for a good matchup considering that they are both pranksters and they play each other off quite nicely. Especially when they fight over who is better friends with Fluttershy.
It was really interesting watching Rainbow and Discord working together here. As the audience, we just know that Discord is stringing her along, but we really don't have any idea as to what end. I personally don't feel these two make a good team, as Rainbow seems to be too easily manipulated by what Discord has to say. That being said though, Discord seems to be leading Rainbow with the right train of thought, and truly does want the best for Fluttershy, so it's really encouraging seeing Discord use his more manipulative streak to provide a positive influence for Rainbow to follow, on the behalf of a better and more thoughtful gift for Fluttershy.
Okay, that's enough reviewing for me. With this, I've hit my quota for the year so I don't get kicked out of the Secret Rift. Now to open up a portal and get myself some eggnog.
Oh yeah, we all can open portals to the Secret Rift. I forgot.
Wait, hold up. You forgot? We've been teleporting all over the place at random because you forgot that you could just open up a portal.
Hey, you didn't think of it either.
If you don't hurry, I'm leaving you behind. It smells like responsibility in here. I'm off to the bar.
Okay. Now, let's just finish this review so I can go home.
Well, okay. At the end, everyone comes together at Twilight's castle to celebrate. No one managed to actually get the right present for anyone, so they are all a bit down, which only gets worse as the castle is overtaken by Christmas pudding and the Winter Scylla attacks. Now, while the whole scene has a rather dramatic setup, it is somewhat undermined by Discord's presence. Kinda hard to raise the stakes when he is right there and can resolve the situation with a finger snap. But as it turns out, he sets the entire Winter Scylla situation up on purpose, as his present for Fluttershy is to be the hero of the day. This is actually pretty sweet and perhaps one of the best uses of Discord in a long time. It perfectly portrays his manipulative nature as a trickster. In the meantime, Pinkie Pie figures out that the gift of the reindeer can be used to calm down the magic pudding.
I really enjoyed Discord's execution in this episode. When he really cares about someone, it shows. And he was not going to just sit idly by and let Rainbow get just any convenient gift for his best friend. I think he did an excellent job of forcing Rainbow to not just go the easiest route, and really made her think and consider what would actually be an excellent gift for Fluttershy. And it really worked out in the end. Discord and, unwittingly, Rainbow gave Fluttershy probably the best gift of all, a chance at having her day, and an opportunity to really further build her confidence and esteem. I was actually really impressed with the writing for this episode in this regard. I would have never guessed that that'd be the final outcome, but it was well thought out and heartwarming, and certainly a welcome surprise.
And after everything is said and done, Spike reveals what gift he got for Rarity. a song about the act of gifting and everyone joins in. I have to say, I really love it. Sure, the message is a little bit on the nose that it doesn't really matter what you give your friends, as it is more about your bonds than material goods. But it is incredibly sweet and catchy, exactly how I like my Christmas songs. In general, a very sweet song to end a very sweet special. And with that being said, let's wrap things up.
Honestly, this was a really well thought out holiday special, and I have to say, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was fun, it was insightful, we had the chance to meet characters old and new, and the lessons we learned along the way didn't feel forced or overdone. We got to see our favorite characters challenged with the stresses of the holidays and make it through to the other side better than ever. It was incredibly interesting watching multiple individual storylines take place independent of one another, only to converge neatly in the end, connecting everyone's actions of the day together, a far more relatable take on the holiday season.
I personally love this special. Heck, for all intents and purposes, I'd rather take this as a season finale than School Race, even if there were no stakes to speak of. It was sweet, it was funny, and every character had a chance to shine. The only thing I rather disliked was the part with Fluttershy, AJ, and the Flim brothers, as it sort of relied on making everyone stupid and blind to the obvious while not being very funny in the process. But even then, it wasn't the worst. So yeah, can we have more of this next season, please?
Well, that was an interesting ride to say the least.
See, you had a fun Christmas after all.
You know, yeah, I suppose I did.
Well, now that you had a fun time, do you maybe want to give that Christmas party another shot? I'm sure they gave up on playing Put the Red Nose on the Reindeer by now.
Really? You think so?
Well, most of the troublemakers should be drunk by now.
Now that's the holiday spirit.
Sly as a fox, you got me under your spell. But you know I'll never tell that I know you know so well.